Everyone talks about the dangers of social media, the addiction, the comparison, the wasted time. But what people rarely talk about is what happens when you quit. That is, the real life practical benefits that show up in your life when you quit social media, mentally, financially, socially, even professionally. Because the truth is, most people think that quitting social media will disconnect you from the world, but in reality, it actually does the opposite. It reconnects you with yourself. Here are the 9 benefits you start to notice once you quit social media. Number 1, your attention span begins to repair itself. Obviously, we all know that social media is built on giving us small doses of dopamine here and there. Every single scroll gives you a new video, a new argument, a new trend, a new opinion. And eventually, your brain becomes used to that constant novelty, which over time creates a new problem. Your brain is unable to focus on anything for a long time. And because of how quickly everything works on social media, you now see yourself unable to actually enjoy things that don't move that quickly. You can't enjoy reading books anymore. You can't even enjoy most hobbies because they don't work that fast. Everything feels exhausting, even talking to people, even walking. Anything that is kind of long and drawn out exhausts the hell out of you. And that's because your brain has been trained to expect stimulation every few seconds. But the moment you quit social media, something unexpected happens. Your brain starts to recalibrate. And after a few days or few weeks, things become interesting again. You see yourself reading more, even enjoying your hobbies, even spending time with people. If you have a job, you don't feel like everything is drawn out and slow. You start to enjoy the job that you do. And this is why when people quit social media, they report feeling more productive than ever. And that is because you've removed the thousands of micro interruptions throughout the day and you're able to focus on one thing. Your attention is one of the most valuable currencies in the world. Be careful where you trade them. The second thing is your thinking becomes independent again. Even if you don't realize it, social media in a subtle manner actually controls how you think. And mind you, it's not always true propagandas, but it's true repetition. If you see an opinion 100 times, it starts to feel like common sense, but that's all because you've seen that thing repeated to you 100 times. Even if it's not true, the algorithm tends to reward certain things like outrage, extreme opinions, tribal or head thinking, simplified narratives, or even lack of nuance. Nuanced ideas rarely go viral. So what happens is that over time, social media creates these opinion bubbles where everyone starts to sound the same. So the moment you quit social media, that constant commentary is gone, and now you start to question things. You start to form your own opinion, and you start to ask yourself, do I actually believe this? Like, is this my opinion, or is this like the opinion of every other person, or do I believe that because that's what every other person believes? Quitting social media will give you back something that is extremely rare today: independent thinking. What that has done for me is that I am constantly questioning myself about certain opinions that I hold on things. Is this actually my opinion? Like, how did I come by this opinion? Why am I so insistent on something? Is this idea or opinion of mine influenced by other people? Where did I hear about this thing first? What has helped me to form this opinion that I have about this thing? You need to start questioning why you believe certain things that you believe. Social media leaves no room for nuances. It's either black and white, there's no gray areas. And unfortunately, because of that, because you want to sort of identify with other people, you see yourself agreeing with them even though you sort of know better than that. So yes, as someone has gone through this, I can testify that the moment you quit social media, you start thinking independently, and your opinions of things and people are no longer influenced by what every other person is saying about that. Number 3, your self-esteem improves even without you realizing it. Social media unfortunately creates a constant environment of comparison. Even if you're already successful, you are constantly exposed to people who have better than you, people who are richer, more attractive, happier, and even more accomplished than you. But of course, what you are seeing is a curated reality, not necessarily the full picture. So you're seeing the highlight, not the real life. And yet somehow your brain still compares your everyday reality to somebody's best moments, which over time will create the psychological effect where you always think that you're behind in life. You feel like you're behind in life, in your career, in money, in lifestyle, in everything. At the moment you remove social media from the equation, you also remove the scoreboard that you've been using all this while. And the beautiful thing is, right away, your life stops feeling like you are constantly competing with strangers. And you also have this realization that your life has been fine all along. It was only social media pushing this constant illusion in your face to sort of, make you compare yourself to other people. How many of you feel like you're behind in life or something is missing because your life doesn't tally with what you're seeing on social media? It could even be for people who are also in the same career as you. Somehow it feels like their life is way better than the one you're living, even though you guys have the same career. So I want you to actually answer yourself truthfully. Are you actually behind in life, or is the illusion of social media making you feel like you're behind in life? Do you actually believe that you're behind in life, Or is it because you're not measuring up to what you're seeing online? Number 4, you stop living for invisible approval. Social media makes people think in terms of audience perception. It's almost like there's always an audience watching you. So subconsciously, before you do anything, you are asking yourself, like, how would this look online? How will people react? Is this post-worthy? And that means that before you do something, you are asking yourself, like, how would the audience react to this? It means that if you want to travel to somewhere, you're wondering, like, oh, can I get good pictures to post on social media? Or you even go to cafes or restaurants just to get good pictures, and not necessarily because you like it, but then you feel like, well, this is going to look good on social media, therefore I should be doing that. And unfortunately, this is how life becomes performative. You keep performing for other people. And so even when you're not posting something, the idea of this invisible audience sort of sits in the background of your mind. Quitting social media will remove that pressure, and experiences will become more private and enjoyable again. You see yourself enjoying moments without needing to document it. You form opinions that are true to your own values without this fear of backlash. And even more interesting, you start to pursue interest without seeking validation. Your life and interest stop being a public performance and start becoming personal again. You stop doing things or even failing to do things because they don't look aesthetic. I know a couple of people that would choose aesthetic friendship over choosing their day one ride or dies. They would rather be friends with people who don't like them but who look beautiful over their day one ride or dies. They only make friends who are aesthetic, whatever that means. People who are beautiful so they can post on social media over those that actually have their back. Number 5, your time expands dramatically. Most people actually underestimate how much time social media consumes because social media uses time in fragments. It's 5 minutes here, 3 minutes there, 7 minutes here, 12 minutes here. But guess what? Those fragments, they add up. Most people actually spend 5 to 10 hours every day on social media without even realizing it, and that is thousands of hours in a year. I remember the day I checked my screen time and I was so embarrassed. I did not believe, like honestly, I did not believe I was spending upward of 12 hours every day on social media, just like, you know, scrolling through stuff. I could be in the bathroom and I'm watching something. I'm cooking, I'm watching something. I'm eating, I'm watching something. I did not realize how much all those times add up, and I was spending like almost half of my day scrolling on social media. Quitting social media will create a massive amount of free time. If you're the type that always complains about how you have no time, I actually want you to start documenting how you spend your time. You will realize how much of that time is spent on doom scrolling. You actually don't realize how much time 12 hours is until you quit social media, and suddenly it's like, what do I do with my time? It's like, I have nothing to do. It's like, I have all this time and there's nothing to do in it. And that's all because you were filling up all the empty spaces with doom scrolling. The moment you quit, it will force you to confront what most people tend to avoid. What do you actually do with your time? For most of us, we picked up reading, learning a skill, getting into new hobbies, exercising, starting new businesses, learning new ideas. These algorithms are by intent actually built to be addictive, so that the moment you open that app, you can't close that app. It takes a lot of willpower for you to be able to close an app, like say TikTok. The moment you start scrolling, that's it. And that's how you spend hours upon hours scrolling on social media. Number 6, your mood stabilizes. Social media exposes you to a massive range of emotional stimuli in a very short period of time. In one single hour, you have seen political outrage, you've seen racism, you've seen some tragic news, you've seen relationship drama, you've seen domestic violence, you've seen all manner of things in one single hour. Or even something that will trigger you, something like racism or whatever that is for you. So what happens is that your brain is constantly jumping through emotions in rapid successions. So you go from happiness to anger to amusement to anxiety to it's like different things happening. That is too much to experience in a short period of time. So what happens is that the moment you quit social media, your environment feels much calmer. You no longer experience these artificial emotional spikes. As a result, you have less anxiety, less stress, you even sleep better, you feel much calmer, you don't see yourself going through mood swing here and there. And that's because your brain is no longer suffering these things that don't even affect your life that much. I personally don't think that the human brain is engineered to carry that much burden in such a short period of time. Let's say for instance, the current war in Iran. I am nowhere near the zone where these wars are taking place, but for some reason, because I see them on social media, I see myself jumping through ranges of emotions. Like I'm feeling sad this moment, and then I'm happy, and then I'm anxious, and then I'm worried. It's like I'm actually nowhere near where this is happening, but it feels like I'm experiencing this in my everyday life. It almost feels like I'm in that war zone, because that's all, like whenever I go on TikTok, that's all I see on my For You page. Sometimes I'm just happy and I'm like, you know what, let me go on social media and see what's happening, and then I come across someone who's going through domestic violence, and now that messes with my mood, because like, why would someone be going through that kind of thing? And eventually throughout the day, I see myself just getting sad or upset at something, and then when I trace it back, it's actually due to the thing that I saw on social media earlier on. And that's why I said that social media makes you suffer more than you're actually suffering in real life, because suddenly it puts the burden of the whole world on your own shoulders, and I don't think any human is meant to carry that. Number 7, your friendship and relationships become more real. Social media is often marketed as something that connects us with friends and family, but ironically, social media actually does the opposite of that. Social media weakens friendships and relationships. What it does is that it gives you the illusion of connection. Because you see their posts or even view their stories, it makes you feel like you guys are connected, but you're not. These are low effort interactions that replace other deeper form of communication. The moment you quit social media, there's a shift. One, you see yourself not speaking to as many people anymore, but the ones you speak to, that connection is more meaningful and much deeper. So instead of you commenting, you actually call them, or instead of liking their post, you guys actually meet outside somewhere and have meaningful discussions. You spend more time with people without the phone constantly interrupting things. Unfortunately, you also see this in families where everyone is on the phone, even like on the dining table you guys are eating and everyone is on the phone. No one is having like meaningful real life connection. It's all due to social media where you're trying to keep up with everybody, but you keep up with none. I even realized that there are people I've not talked to like in years, but because I see them all the time on social media, it feels like at the back of my mind, it feels like we are speaking or we are talking, even though we haven't had like a phone call in years. Number 8, you become harder to manipulate. Social media is designed around behavioral psychology, and the goal is very simple: keep you engaged as long as possible. And how do they do that? Personalized algorithm, amplified outrage, emotional triggers, and endless scrolling. And over time, these systems subtly influence you. They influence what you believe, what you buy, what you don't buy, who you like, who you don't like, what you hate, what you don't hate, and even what you desire based off of what you see all the time. Social media is a propaganda machine, and it manipulates you and shapes the way you think more than you realize. The moment you quit social media, you remove a major source of psychological manipulation. You regain control of what information gets into your brain, and that alone is extremely powerful. If you think you've not been manipulated by social media, I want you to start asking yourself how much of your opinions are actually yours. What are things or people you hate or like, and why did you come to that conclusion? What version of a story have you believed based off of what was pushed to you? In order for you to grow out of this manipulation, you have to become less reactive. Becoming less reactive is a huge part of that growth. That is being able to think for yourself instead of reacting to everything you have been fed. If you see something 1,000 times, you start to believe that is the truth, and that's how you get manipulated. Something is pushed to you over and over and over and over and over again, and eventually it starts to sound like common sense, even though that was not your earlier opinion of that. Number 9, this is the most important one. You start to discover who you actually are. For me, this is the biggest benefit of quitting social media: being able to know yourself for yourself. Social media constantly exposes you to other people's personalities and identities, their lifestyle, their belief, their values, and over time, unknowingly, subconsciously, you start to mirror these identities. But the moment you step away from social media, you start to experience an identity crisis, and that forces you to actually confront yourself and ask yourself the most important question: who am I? Who am I when no one is watching me? What kind of things do I like? What kind of things do I not like? What things do I enjoy? What things do I believe? What has formed my values in life? In fact, what are my values? What kind of life do I want to live? What kind of friends do I want to have? Where do I want to be? What country do I want to live in? Like, where do I actually want to be? Who am I and what do I want? I have to be very honest with you. This is such an uncomfortable phase to go through, but it's very necessary you go through it. So many people go through life absorbing identities from other people without ever truly forming their own. Quitting social media creates the silence you need in order for you to discover yourself. You might even discover that you don't like certain hobbies or things, but you only pick them up because that's what's in vogue, that's what everyone is doing, that's what your favorite influencer is doing. You might realize that there are countries or places you don't care to travel to, but you only wanted to travel to those places because that's what your favorite influencer does, or that's the place they enjoy going to. Therefore, you've picked up that identity that you also like that place as well, based off of someone else liking it. Like I said, you start to understand yourself better. The identities you pick up online are just like, let me say, performative costumes, and you need to put them off in order for you to discover yourself. Like, you need to be naked in order for you to discover who you are. Put away the costumes you've picked up here and there from other people, and actually start to ask yourself, what do I like? Who am I? What are things that I enjoy? Start to question the opinions of yourself that you hold. If you think that you're introverted or you're extroverted or you're this or you're that, is that who you are, or is that something you've picked up online? Because unfortunately, we all have this tribe or head mentality where you want to, like, be the same with other people. Therefore, you pick up things just to feel among. I'm going to end this by saying that social media is not necessarily good or evil. It can connect people, it can spread ideas, it can even create opportunities for people. But you have to realize that it's one of the most powerful influence and attention machine ever created. And most people underestimate how much this machine shapes their life. Now, I'm not trying to say that quitting social media will magically fix everything, but it's going to be the start of something. It's going to remove that constant streams of noise, distractions, opinions, or whatever. And it's in that silence that the magical thing starts to happen. You start to have focus, clarity, and a stronger sense of who you are without the internet telling you who to become. Alright guys, that's the end of this video. I want you to like, subscribe, comment, do all the good things, and I'll see you guys in my next one.